So what we currently have to the top right is the Zerg player, and we have him in the top right with a red. It's coLGoswser for Complexity Gaming. He was able to win the first game, and then on Cloud Kingdom he lost to MMA. But let's talk about this a little bit later. Cross position at the bottom left, though. Introducing our second player is none other than AcerMMA, Terran player in blue, was just able to win on Cloud Kingdom. And yeah, that game was very, very interesting. The problem for coLGoswser was really that he seemed to be stuck with the idea that he had to end the game, that he has to win it right now with his Ling, Muta, and Baneling composition. In the mid game, he at some point even stopped to produce Mutalisks, but just concentrated on Lings and Banelings. And it was really tough for him to make this work because MMA just turtled on his 3 bases, tried to defend the entire game until he had the better upgrades, until he had the momentum going for him, and coLGoswser just ran out of steam at some point. It was actually really unfortunate for him. He's the underdog in this entire series, and for him to beat MMA, that would be so important. The first game was already something where he didn't look too good throughout the match, but then got this one fight that ended in his favor, where he gained momentum, was able to defeat MMA, and MMA just being a little bit too complacent, lost the first match and suddenly found himself with a back to the wall. So coLGoswser then had the chance to end this with a 2-0, but he wasn't able to take it. So MMA forcing this third game, and coLGoswser might now be in a position where he thinks, well, can I really take this? When nerf issues might be a big factor. But we'll have to find out what exactly he tries to do. coLGoswser in both games has tried with a very aggressive opening. Roaches only in game number 2, where we saw him with a roach push, and in game number 1 on Antigua, of course, the attempt to end the game early with roach baning. This time it's a little bit different. We have a very huge map and we have cross position. It is whirlwind, and as you can see, there's a long distance between the two maps, so that's definitely not going to be easy to cross with a few units in the early game to get aggressive. And I doubt that coLGoswser is going to do anything like it. He will probably try to play it a little bit more safe, a bit more standard. And MMA, on the other hand, is using his gas. On a map like this, a lot of Terran players try to go for mech strategies. You can really take your third bases, you can sit tight, wait if the Zerg player tries to come over and try to attack you. And if a Zerg really goes, for example, Brutals on this map, it's a very slow composition, so you can try to move past him. If you go for Bio instead of Mech, you can always start to drop, take those bases out, try to get those units, the defending forces of the Zerg player, and thin them out. So a lot of options here for MMA, and it really depends on the style that he wants to use on this map. But I wouldn't be surprised to see a mech composition in this game later on. We have him now already with a refinery, with a second, and we saw him in both games, in all of the games, trying to go at least for a few banshees and do damage, and they were quite successful. They really did a lot, so it would be a really good idea for him to do it again, even though you have to account for the huge distance between the maps, that it will take a little bit longer for your banshee to actually arrive. But right now, coLGoswser is playing the game not as aggressive as in game number 1 and number 2, as expected. He's going for the third base. We have him without gas just yet, not a single extractor build. We'll probably start to build the first few ones in a bit. But as you can see now, with 2 queens, another 2 in a production tab, he's already heading into 4. We'll have to make sure that his creep spread is decent. And that's actually something that I really want to point out here. coLGoswser has done a really good job in the last few games with this creep, especially on Cloud Kingdom, with the queen that walked over to the third base. The Overlord on Lairtech dropped creep, and then the queen used the tumors immediately to block this expansion. That was really, really well done. coLGoswser now actually with a Roach Warren. Let me just double check, but I think no speed just yet. So looks like it's going to be a more defensive Roach Warren, and that it's not going to be a too aggressive build that he's trying to execute here. It can't be a Roach Baneling push or just a Roach with a Zergling follow-up, because there is no speed just yet. But he has a little bit of gas, but this is most likely just going to be him getting a Roach Warren out so that he can defend against Hellions. I don't think that he's really trying to cross the map here. That would be overdoing it a little bit. That would be asking for too much. MMA will not be that greedy. He gets 4 roaches. Let's see if he commits to more than that, or if 4 is all that he needs. for his defense. Yeah, it looks like he's not going to get any additional ones. The Hellions are already out. They are on their way. He's going to see what's happening here. We have 2 of them roaming the map, trying to get close. The next 4 are also on the move. And in the main base of MMA now, the Banshee being built at the starport, as we already expected. And even the 3rd base is up. On a map like Whirlwind, it's of course no surprise. Hellions trying to gain a bit of map control here. Trying to take down Creep Tumors. Boom. Down goes the 1st and the 2nd. Well done. Queen is not going to be happy. It's going to be really annoying. The Cardboard Queen is actually already crying. So that is a position for him where he will be like, well, I need to spread my creep here, but the Hellions will try to make it as difficult for him as possible. It's going to be really, really important for MMA, because coLGoswser has shown in game 1 and 2 that a good creep spread is something that he relies on. So if MMA can force him to reduce this creep spread a little bit, that would help him with all his timings and his attacks. And MMA is not opting for the mech play that you can execute on this map. He's going into bio. We have him with +1/+1 already on the production tab. Stimpack being researched, and he goes now into additional barracks. So wants to go for this bio play. Drop's going to be really important for him later on. And already the lair tech here for coLGoswser, who even made sure that he delayed his speed a bit. He spent the first 100 gas to get those 4 roaches. The second 100 gas goes straight into the lair tech, and then he starts with the speed upgrade and the bailings. So all these structures and all these mechanisms that he has to defend are now coming into play for him. He really wants to focus on his economy. With a 60 drone supply economy, he has a pretty good number out. But I'm actually a bit surprised that he doesn't drone up a bit more heavily. He can get at least another 15 drones at this point. And also a 3rd base or 4th base, my bad, sorry, would be something that I would certainly expect from him at some point in the game. But right now, he's really just trying to stick it out with 60 drones. A little bit Julizerg style, if you think about it. And the 3rd base is now also coming up for MMA, something that coLGoswser does not even know about. He doesn't have a lot of scouting information if you check his vision. He does not really know what's going on here. A few overlords in position that can spot the 3rd base very soon, but right now he does really not know a lot. He just assumes that MMA will go for a 3rd base, not trying to hit timing here. So things are currently just working well for both players. MMA not being too aggressive with his bio style that he chose on Whirlwind. coLGoswser, on the other hand, has a supply lead, is completely undisturbed here, but still on a very low economy. And that's the one thing that surprises me a little bit. With 60 drones only on a map like Whirlwind, it really looks like he goes a bit more for Julizerg style, and that's what we see right now. He's not using the Julizerg army composition, but he's certainly going for his aggression.
Exactly. I mean, this is what he showed us last game as well, as he loves to be aggressive with his banelings, this time with roaches. Coupled in with them. And I don't think this is because he expected mech, he just wants to have this beefy composition with those roaches, and I'm a little bit surprised, to be honest, that MMA doesn't go for mech on this map. But here comes the attack, and a great target fire on those banelings here, and we'll see if MMA can actually hold. That's a lot of banelings still left, and the roaches can tear through that bunker.
That 3rd base definitely under a lot of pressure right now, and coLGoswser using this timing here. That's what he was working for, not trying to get into the late game. This is a bit of a variation of the aggression that we've seen on game 1 and 2. He wants to go for a big roach bailing attack with a completely different timing that we are normally used to, and MMA felt safe. He felt completely safe here, but the siege tank that he had was not enough. The timing was well chosen by coLGoswser. MMA even being supply blocked, and oh my god, he's getting slaughtered here at the natural.
Yeah, there are more and more Zerglings rolling in, but with the healing power of the Medivacs, he will eventually be able to push it back, especially going into that siege tank range. Really nicely done. And coLGoswser tries to target the siege tank down, not actually successful there. These banelings are a really weird choice to me.
Yeah, he's trying to get the banelings in. The siege tanks, yeah, they are going to pick them up immediately.
Yeah, that was really weird. I see the idea there, because he's like, well, he's only got that one siege tank. If I can target it down, there's none, and then the banelings roll in. But the second siege tank came out, and he had both siege tanks and a good marine split, so that did not work out for him at all.
You know, with what he did, he took down a lot of harvesters, 41 in total. That's quite impressive. And MMA is down to 40 SCVs. The thing that I don't really understand, though, is why coLGoswser is still getting this many Zerglings and does not drone up heavily. He has a 3rd base coming up, so now he has all the options of overwhelming MMA in the late game. And he already got the infestation bit, though this time, after the last game, I promise you, if you looked at that replay, or he just looked at the game, took a few seconds, like, I should have played that a little bit different. So
Yeah.
now he has that follow-up tech, but the economy is lacking a bit. He built a few harvesters, but he has only 59.
Yeah, it's like he's really focused on trying to end the game early. He doesn't lose his hatchery. His creep is spread only in one direction, and so it's a little bit harder for him to defend this. Also, to see it coming, Viking cleared up a lot of those overlords earlier, so now he actually doesn't have the vision for drops like this. A great position by MMA here as well, and actually he now has actually the ability to pick up if he wants. And
Yeah, that was a very good trade for him. Another problem that coLGoswser has is that where are those queens? He has 4 queens, but the injects are just not there. There's no queen in the main. There she is, one in the main base. Okay, finally those injects hit.
And MMA just cleared up a ton of tumors in the middle of the map, so those queens actually want to get back out there, but will they be able to? Probably not. It's at the very least going to be very tough for them to get out there and back into action right now. There's only 4 of them on the map.
MMA is relying on his mules a lot to close the distance in, in income. But the upgrades are also going to be a problem for coLGoswser because MMA, this guy is on 3-3, on his way to 3-3 already.
Yep. And that's going to be a big problem. That was a big problem last game. Oh well, these drops are just starting to get out of control. When no mutas are around to shut them down, it's just super easy. Oh, will he get the fungal? No, he doesn't even try for it.
Yeah. MMA is just really using his drop play right now to force coLGoswser back. You know, this attack that the Zerg player executed was brilliant. It looked really, really good. He took down 40 supply. He could have done more, especially in the end. There were a few decisions that, well, from an observer perspective, were maybe a bit of a mistake or overextending himself. But still, he did so much damage.
Yeah.
It was really worth it. But then, after that, MMA is in a position where he starts to drop like a madman, and coLGoswser just didn't seem prepared for it.
No, he did not. I mean, with no mutas in this case, very difficult to defend. He's getting that hive tech, something he did not even start last game.
Yeah.
The infestors here are oh so useful, and he needs to make sure he saves them, and so far so good, but the Baneling's always caught a little bit behind those Zerglings, and cannot detonate on those siege tanks like that.
Yeah, the Banelings always are being wasted on the siege tanks. He really wants to try to connect with those Marines, but still, it was a decent trade. Right now, as you can see though, with the 4th base up again, we have still Lings and Banelings to defend them. There comes a double drop though, and with good micro, that's gonna be, that's not gonna be enough. Double drop is gonna take down the expansion, or maybe not, with all the Zerglings running in, and also the Infestors trying to protect the space.
Yeah, he gets out right in time though, knowing the infestors would be on the way. Great multitasking from MMA. That's one of the reasons why MMA was able to take the last game. Yeah, we talked about how coLGoswser overextended himself in a lot of ways, but MMA stayed calm and collected throughout the entire thing and hung on. I mean, that's what we saw in game number 1 even. He was down to like 12 supply before he GG'd, and he thought maybe I can hang in there.
The big problem for coLGoswser is really his injects. His mechanics just don't seem to be on the level of MMA. He has so much energy on those queens. Not a single hatch is injected right now. Well, he just started with a hive. I guess he will probably start with the rest of his base soon. Nope, he doesn't. And yeah, definitely a big problem for him. He's always low on low on lava, and heads now into the Ultralis cavern. Also adrenal glands going for +3/+3. He needs those upgrades. MMA already has them.
Yep, MMA is actually just ripping through that hatchery, targets it down. A few Marines at the back actually in a great position. Just once again, I don't know about that cancel. Misplaced it looks like.
Out of position, I guess.
Yeah, you can see just 1 hex too far to the left.
And again, a scan.
Yeah, probably. There it is. And with these tumors gone, actually, coLGoswser has no real presence on the map anymore. And this is a big map. This is not a map to want to feel like that on.
Yeah, the middle is controlled by MMA with siege tanks and the Zalnaga watchtower. He yields the position to move onto that 4th again. Oh, decides to fall back.
He wants to wait, I think, for just a few more tanks. And again, with the Ultras Cavern that coLGoswser is making, you know, when you go for Ultras like this, you have kind of like a one shot when your economy is damaged in the way that coLGoswser is. If you're Ultraless, clean that things up really well and you can keep your economy going, then take another expansion, then it's worth it. If you lose your Ultras without doing any damage, you usually just lose the game right afterwards.
Yeah, coLGoswser probably really would love to have a couple of Heart of the Swarm Ultralists now.
Yeah, I think so.
Those guys are pretty beefy. And here comes this attack, and Adrenal Glands will be ready, so will a few of the Ultralists, but they might not be there in time.
Yeah, they're going to be a little bit out of position. The Fungal here is good on the Medivacs, but most of the Marines are still coming through here.
Those siege tanks are just controlling the space so well and make it difficult for the infestors to engage. And this is exactly the positioning that MMA needs to take down the 4th again.
Yep, there's a small counterattack run by here with 2 Ultralists and a group of Zerlings, but they are going to be shut down at 3rd base. There's no way you can actually make that work. Well,
this feels a little bit like Starship Troopers now for those guys at the 3rd base. The SCVs are completely being overrun, the Ultralists landing their damage.
Yeah.
+3/+3, not done just yet, but at least continuous planing is ready.
His defensive units were actually over here where you can see these siege tanks and Marines for space control, but they were not actually prepared to defend an attack that came from the other side of the ramp.
And MMA takes this overall lead in supply, and once more, here, oh, what a beautiful funnel. That was actually like really great. Hits everything here, and the siege tanks not being sieged up cannot zone out those infestors.
Yeah, and he lost a lot of infestors there, but I feel that was worth it with the way that he got those funnels off. Back down to 12 hit points with a bunch of units in it. Does not die, but MMA is prepared for Broodlord switch. He's added 3 starports, but he's patiently not adding the Vikings just yet, which I really like, because he knows he's kept his opponent on low economy, so if a few Broodlords come out with Marines, he can deal with those, but if the game goes later, he already has the infrastructure in place. Since he had some extra resources, he just already invested in it, and I really like that.
Both of them just don't want to overextend themselves right now and play it a little bit more safe, because the big problem is, of course, this is the last game. This is the last map in the best of 3, and if you lose here, then you drop down to the loser's match. That's the one place where you don't want to be.
Yeah, you don't want to be there, because then you're 1 best of 3 away from just being out. You gotta win 2 best of 3s in a row. And, well, he doesn't want to actually engage without all of his army together against this many siege tanks.
4th base ready for coLGoswser now to the right side of the map. The same is true for his opponent, just on the opposite side. On the left, we have a planetary being built.
Very drone low again, 62 to 55 right now.
He loves to play this low drone style. I just think that with a bit more of an economy, he could really benefit from his tech a bit more.
Yeah, I totally agree. His gas in this case is actually good, but his minerals are a little lacking right now. Starting to hit those injects a lot better though, and I feel like since MMA kind of pressure off of him, and he held the center of the map rather than attack that 4th base over and over again, now that he's got that,
he's stabilized a bit.
Exactly. He's not missing those injects anymore. He's not worried. His multitasking has gone back to normal.
Well, at the bottom now, let's have a quick look at the army supply now that both of them are maxed out. They're at 136 to 137 actually, so very similar army and of course also worker supply. And the sensor tower now here for MMA, giving him a little bit of safety. He's probably gonna, he's gonna use the drop play once again. We have him with a dropship to the right side of the map, trying to hit this 4th base, and there's no overlord. That's one of the things that coLGoswser is really skipping on, this overlord positioning. It's also because MMA every single game uses a Viking to force them back.
And several drones going down here. Gets out just in time. Oh, not so this time. Usually he gets out. Oh, not enough energy. MMA doesn't realize it though, and too bad.
Just in time, gets the 2nd infestor in, and he's a happy panda and takes it down. Christmas come early for coLGoswser here. 4 spine crawlers now, maybe, in the main base actually, defending the tech here.
Yeah, it's very important to make sure that your hive does not get targeted down, and that'll definitely do it. 1 drop is never going to beat that many spine crawlers. 2 drops maybe.
With all these Ultralisks, the big problem for coLGoswser is going to be positioning. He needs to fight in open space. He cannot really attack his opponent's 3rd, for example. If he moves in there, just too many corners, too many positions that MMA can use against him. If he's able to force a battle in the middle of the map where he can flank, where he can get the surface area with all of his Ultralisks, that would be the best position for him ever. But that is of course also something that MMA perfectly knows, and he will try to avoid that. A nice drop attempt now in the main base though, while the units are to the left side.
Yeah, I said it before, 1 drop will not fight 4 spines, but I think 2 drops definitely will, except that he pulled his medevacs over to do some multitasking instead of actually committing, since he didn't realize the spines would be there. Oh, ended up losing a medevac to a spore, so those users are getting some good trades off these drops and is adding 4 additional spine crawlers in order to defend, and I like that. I think that's really smart. It's something that you can definitely invest against a player who's so good at multitasking like this.
Yeah. Something that I really like now is that we have 2 Ghost Academies. So what we're going to see is MMA really trying to use nukes for a tactical advantage, using to get momentum, using to get position, and also to just out multitask coLGoswser. And I feel that's the right strategy here. coLGoswser has shown that he has not the same multitasking skills as MMA in a few of the games, in a couple of scenarios, also in this game in the early stages. So right now, this is maybe exactly what MMA needs here, and he has the resources, so why not?
Yeah, exactly. If you got the resources, definitely worth it. It's a great way to trade because that bank that may never get used when you lose your whole army and you're trying to remax, that could happen. It's much more, it feels much better to have nukes to be able to zone your opponent out. And uh-oh, this hatchery will probably get targeted down. Not quite able to with only one dropship full of units, and he's actually just going to surrender it here.
With the nukes, it's really unlikely that you're going to hit the main army, but what you try to do is just deny him mining. Take down those extra bases, take down drones, and always make your opponent wonder where exactly is the next nuke gonna hit. And you might actually miss one nuke that is dedicated to take down your army.
He actually targets the hatchery under spine crawlers and the drone fire, and just barely gets it with the last grenade.
That was really unlucky for coLGoswser. The last grenade hits it. Seeker missile coming up, and a third Ghost Academy.
He's like, well, I can research double ghost upgrades with my personal cloaking and my Mobius reactor, but I figured I should be able to research a nuke at the same time, so I'll get my third Ghost Academy. The Seeker missile research obviously going to be very good once Ravens start coming to play a little bit later. And coLGoswser still playing very cost efficiently with his Ultras, not actually losing any of them, keeping his Infestors alive pretty well here, but no transition into Broodlords later on, so he's been just sticking with the Ultras, and his Ultras count is getting quite high. He's up to 10 now.
For him, it's also so difficult to expand again because he's thinning out his army, and it's really hard to make the defense work, as you can see here. Another attempt by MMA to move in, and yeah, he gets fungal, but he kills hit points at the hatch, and at some point this will be enough to take it down with another shot.
With nukes later as well,
yeah.
This hatchery may become nuked a few times. It's all it will take is 2 nukes and that hatchery will go down.
Exactly, 1 nuke or 2, and then the hatchery is going to be doomed. 1 Zergling brave enough.
Yeah, that Zergling is willing to do his job. No burrow though, so he can't hide.
Middle of the map, here comes the engagement. The coLGoswser was hoping for, going for the surface area fight, forcing MMA back, both of them trading kind of evenly, but coLGoswser is remaxing a lot faster thanks to his lava.
Yeah, thanks to that larva. It won't last forever, but this is a great moment for him to try to seize this opportunity. I'd rather see him attack a less fortified base than attacking that one, or at least trying to find the army out of position, which is what he did initially, and that's how he took that fight, but he saves all of his Infestor energy.
The big problem for him really is that the position for MMA is so fortified with all these additional planetaries that he built. It's really, really difficult. So he tries to do that, but there are siege tanks, there are planetaries, he has a lot more marauders now that he is facing. The Ultralisk, talking about Ultralisk, 7 additional ones have just been built for coLGoswser.
And he's going to need them because the pathing on these is not going to be optimal. He's actually going to lose all 4 of those to the bottom. A good fungal though.
We have 17 Ultralisks now for coLGoswser. Great fungals on those SCVs. The planetary is dead. coLGoswser is powering through, but he's dropping in supply.
1 or 2 more fungals could actually have not only killed those units that are being healed by the medevacs now, but also could have definitely taken out those SCVs. He got neither instead, and now that was a horrible trade in the end. He's down in supply, but he got the planetary.
The planetary was the one thing that he really achieved in this game. Taking it down was of course important, but still, where are those nukes? So far we don't see any. We have, I feel, 1 nuke ready. Oh, he must have used it actually.
Well, we got the hatchery to the north was actually killed. Whether I don't think it was by a nuke, but he was able to kill it at least with something up there.
Yeah, no, I don't think he used the nuke. He has still 2 available on the Ghost, so I think that's it.
He's going to start using them now, though. This planetary is probably going to fall. I don't think he has enough to defend, even with repairs. He's sending his units over, but it's going to die just before they get there.
They're just too many Ultralisks.
Yep.
But he might lose a few of those, and that's going to be really, really dangerous for him if he loses too much. Oh, but wow, gets away with all of them.
That was close. This nuke is going to kill so many drones and all the spine crawlers.
Oh my god, he's going to lose everything. Bam, 4 spine crawlers dead and all the drones. Another nuke goes off.
This time I think it must be, oh
yeah,
that's
there we
a lot of larva going to be
lost. At the
lost.
natural. Gonna lose the lava here, being pressured once again. And boom. The Ghost not even cloaked anymore. Engagement in the middle of the map. Again, coLGoswser running in, but he's dropping in supply. As you can see, he's down to 100. AcerMMA, good bundles here for coLGoswser, what he needed, but will it be enough? Doesn't really look like it. A lot of the investors are already dead, and those ultralists are following suit. They are doing a decent job, but the problem is just that MMA still has so much mining, whereas coLGoswser just lost a lot of his economy.
They're both so low in economy, but MMA definitely better with the mules. He's got a planetary to fall back to as well. I don't think... Oh, this is actually not a planetary yet, though. That changed a lot. He actually has to lift, and the investors, will they actually grab? No, he goes for Infested Terrans instead, and the SCVs are going to get away as a result.
One Marine at the top right, another nuclear strike, the Marine with 15 kills. That's the captain right there.
Yeah, I think that may have been the same Marine that actually killed the hatchery earlier as well.
The nuke to the right side going down, maybe taking down an Infestor too?
No, but the larva.
The lava and the hatch is losing additional hit points. So coLGoswser now is only at 11 drones against 22 SCVs, but the problem of course being mules.
Yes, a big problem indeed, and
MMA needs a base first though.
He does. He's down to 15 minerals right now, and he's not mining at all. 0 mining, and the infestor count is getting a little bit higher. He's going up to 8. In this situation where nobody is mining, the energy units are the most important. The ghost infestors.
This game is a bit crazy. Both of them are now down on so little supply. 76 to 62. Trying to clean house, but the big problem is just that we currently have so many planetaries that somehow coLGoswser has to kill, and how is he going to do that?
Yeah, he's going to have to wait a long time. Most of those planetaries that are left, though, are actually just positional planetaries. They're not actually bases that are mining, so we'll see if it ends up mattering. This is a orbital down near the bottom right. This base is going to be so hard for him to attack, though.
Yeah. And this allows MMA to not only get SCVs, but also a lot more units now. We have more Marauders being built, and if coLGoswser waits too long, he will fall behind again. He has this one base at the top that is mining, but still, all the structures are protected for MMA, at least to a certain extent, with those walls that he has, with those planetary fortresses. It's hard to take down the production, and at the same time, the base to the bottom hasn't been scouted yet, but there are a couple of Zerglings now on their way.
Yeah, he wants to actually get over there with some investors. Oh my god, could he catch these units coming down the ramp? No, they go to the right side, and the Zerg army is just not quite there. But he will actually be able to zone out here. And boom, takes out the Ghost.
MMA at 83 supply against 71 additional tanks and Marines being built.
This is actually
SCVs running for their
man.
life.
SCVs are going to go down here. The base to the right side is going to go down though as well to a drop, it looks like, and that is a big problem.
And another Enforce is heading towards the top base, trying to fight with those spine crawlers. The drones have been pulled. This is getting so close. MMA is falling behind in supply.
He's falling behind in supply and he cannot kill the hatchery. He actually gives up and retreats.
More and more Zerglings are being built now. This is getting very out of hand.
Yep, that base to the bottom right, still not mining. MMA with 3 SCVs, only 2 mules on the map right now.
He has another base to the left side though, and these he can use to just get a few more minerals. But once more, the Zerglings on patrol, moving in, they see what's happening, and well, coLGoswser, he might have to attack here, but I actually don't know if that's enough.
I don't know if it's enough. I think it is if he gets the right fungals.
Yeah.
I think you can take that army out.
With a good execution, he could take the game right now, but this is so even.
Yeah. Oh my god, man. He does take out some of these medevacs, it looks like, which is actually quite huge. Wow, he got all of those medevacs.
That was epic.
And now he's actually going to go for the attack. He's hesitating a little bit here. He wants to make sure he does the perfect engagement, because this engagement will decide the game. Infested Terrans being dropped down. He actually totally hesitates there and wastes a lot of energy, I feel, but he doesn't really lose anything as long as he can save his infestors. Uh-oh, a little dart in to take out the hatchery. I think he'll get it. Oh my god, he doesn't get it! He doesn't get it, and that's a huge trade that coLGoswser will be happy to take any day of the week.
MMA is down 30 supply. coLGoswser so close to advance to the winner's match. This is crazy, guys. The Zerg player on the way to the bottom right, he knows exactly that MMA has another base over there, and he is trying to go for it. And does MMA really have anything? He doesn't even have a siege tank anymore. There's only Marines and Marauders. And here comes the army of the Zerg player. The bundles are good, and he's moving in. those ultilis do too much damage. It looks like coLGoswser might have done it. There it is.
GG, man. I can't believe it. I can't believe he actually was able to pull off and take out
Wow.
MMA.